All right, welcome back to another episode of the Cody Tucker Show. I am Cody Tucker. As always, be sure to like and subscribe, tell a friend, all that good stuff. So to start things off, I want to give a little in memoriam to Miss Ann Heche, recently passed away. I do owe a sincere gratitude to Ann Heche for really helping me out during my kind of slightly prepubescent to say 11 to 13 years old age. This was a time where my internet connection was complete garbage, like most people. So porn was kind of out of the question. Like I wasn't about to wait fucking 30 minutes for a picture just to like, goddamn, like you can only edge for so long before you fucking, have a goddamn aneurysm. So, so I used to do what, probably a lot of people did. And I would just go on like pull up like HBO or IFC or something and try to just find any movie that had, like in the rating, rated R and had an N next to it, which obviously meant that there was going to be nudity somewhere in this movie. So any movie I saw that was either PG-13 or rated R and had that N next to it, I'm like, all right, got to watch this one because, old Cody needs to clear his head of the stresses of being a fucking 12-year-old. So one of those movies was this movie called 6 Days, 7 Nights. Here, let me take this down. 6 Days, 7 Nights is a movie, stars Anne Heche and Harrison Ford. I'll be honest, I've seen it about 50 times. Still don't know what it's about. Because the only reason I watched it is because Anne Heche throughout the movie actually looks like this throughout the entire movie, or is wearing a white shirt where you can clearly see her nipples through the entire movie. So, yeah, I mean, it worked pretty fucking well. And kind of one of the bonuses of twisting on your stinger to something like that compared to regular porn is that when you watch regular porn, you do run the risk of, when you're about to reach the male orgasm, and then the camera will pan right to the guy's face, and if you fucking blast off while you're seeing a video of a guy going like that, I mean, it'll make you feel real low about yourself. So you watch a movie like 6 Days, 7 Nights, never have to worry about that. Because even if it does pan over to the guy is fucking Han Solo. So even if I did, climax at that moment, I couldn't really feel too bad about myself. I mean, it's fucking Indiana Jones, for God's sakes. In my book, nothing gay about it. At least that's what I've been telling myself for the past, 17 years. So, rest in peace, Anne Heche. You will be missed. Yeah, she gave me like a weird complex as a kid. Because she kind of looked like my kindergarten teacher who, in kindergarten, I didn't think fucking anything of her. But then as I got older, I'd look back and be like, damn, Miss Stevens was hot as shit. And then I remember seeing Anne Heche in this movie. Like, damn, she kind of looks like her. And so that immediately, wires got crossed and it was fucking go time. But yeah, I mean, so apparently Anne Heche, which I talked about a little bit last week, what happened with the whole wreck and all that. So I won't go into that too much, but she, the drug test did come back from the blood test, and she apparently had a pretty large amount of cocaine in her system, which, Doesn't seem like too much of a surprise, to be honest. But it is. It's actually no. It is kind of surprising because who the fuck in 2022 is doing cocaine? Like, isn't all that shit laced with like fentanyl and shit? Like it is mind-boggling to me how anyone. Okay, it's mind-boggling to me that anyone would even want to do cocaine, even if it was like in its most purest fucking form. Because, like, there is nothing that I would want less than to be just amped up and, like, have my heart rate increase, start sweating. I mean, everything I've seen people who are, like, fucked off on coke, like, how they're acting, I'm like, I do not want to be like this. like if I drink 3 sodas in a day, like I'm laying in my bed having fucking heart palpitations. Like, oh my God, this is the one. Like, there's no way I could, toot up a line of blow. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, it sounds so fucking miserable. And, like, what I want, like, in a drug is something to just knock my ass out. Like, I want something that shuts my brain off, which is probably why I'm such a fucking alcoholic for, a while. And, which, I quit drinking about 3 years ago, so I guess that's good. But, the reason that I was drinking so much is because, like, I don't know why, but, like, for me, like, for my brain, it almost feels like there's, like, 10 different brains inside of my brain all talking to each other at the same time, and I can't figure out which one I want to listen to. Which, now that I'm saying that out loud, sounds a wee bit like schizophrenia. Which, that's not good. I don't think I have schizophrenia, because I don't hear, like, voices and shit. It's just that, like, I just have way too many thoughts going on at the same time. And so if I'm in any situation where there's, like, extra stimulus or stimuli, it fucks me up. So, like, if I go to a restaurant that's playing music too loud or has, like, too many TVs on, like a sports bar, or like when you go to restaurants that have, like, fucking Christmas lights and shit that are blinking. Mexican restaurants, but like, if you go to any places like that, like, I'm like, I can't fucking handle it. And then the people in the restaurant. So, like, I can't sit at a table in the restaurant. It has to be, like, in a booth. Because, like, at least in a booth, I'm sort of shut off. I'm shut off 3 ways. But then, I just have that one exit route, which is all right. But if you're in a table, you're surrounded on 360 degrees. Which, I immediately go to, like, worst case scenario everything. Where, like, what if somebody comes up behind me and just sticks me in the fucking neck with a fork? Which, I've said shit that I probably deserve it, so I wouldn't really be that surprised. But, like, that's what I'm thinking the entire time. Is like, who the fuck just walked in? Like, do they seem all right? What if I'm in a booth? I can kind of drown out some of that shit. Which is really, like, why I just like being in my house. It's why I fucking hate driving. Just for the same reason. Like, I'm constantly looking at everybody that's driving and being like, hey, are you fucking doing what you're supposed to be doing? Like, are you nodding off? Or, like, do you see that there's a red light? Like, that's what I'm looking at every fucking person driving in that same way. And so I'm sitting there, like, shaking behind the wheel. It's like, I can't handle it. So drinking for me was, it erased all of that. Like, it made me feel like, oh, I don't have any anxieties about shit anymore. Like, I'll go drive, I'll drive across the fucking country if I have enough goddamn, natural lights. Like, it just, erases all that shit. And that's the kind of shit that I like. I've never really done, like, hard drugs. I've never done hard drugs. Like, I've taken Xanax a couple times, recreationally. And it didn't really do shit for me. It made me feel like I was going to fall asleep. So, it is not something I would like to get into. Alcohol is the one. That's the one where it's like, fuck, this is, like, made for me. Because I'm not one of the people that gets loud and obnoxious. I don't want to start a fight with somebody. I don't even want to see a fight or see people being loud and obnoxious. I want to just, like, relax, talk, like with friends, listen to music, joke around, like that kind of shit. I like doing drunk the same exact things I like doing sober, which is probably why the transition hasn't been that difficult. Because, like, I can still do the exact same shit sober that I was doing drunk. Like, it doesn't make things, like, necessarily more or less fun, or it doesn't make it easier. Like, if I'm sitting around with, like, friends, like real friends, joking around, I can do that sober or drunk and not be too, like, worried about shit. Being drunk just, like, got helped with, like, public anxieties and shit like that. So, but anyways, heroin. Heroin is the drug that I would love to try it. I mean, I never would, because my personality is just so fucking addicting. Addictive. Like, when it comes to alcohol, food, cigarettes. I mean, when I used to drink coffee, I used to drink like 2 pots of coffee a day. Like, I mean, I guess probably not super dissimilar from fucking coke, but yeah, like, I know that if I did heroin, I'd be dead in a fucking month. And a month is, I'm giving myself a lot of leeway time there. Like, I mean, it just, from everything I've ever read about coke, it sounds fucking incredible. Like, wait, not coke, heroin. Like, everything that I've heard about heroin just sounds, I mean, it sounds like the perfect fucking drug. Like, and it has to be, because you know that if you do heroin, like, it's a fucking death sentence. Like, I mean, how many people survive, like, a real heroin addiction? Like, not many. And, I mean, I definitely wouldn't be one of them. But, like, for it to be, like, kind of a known thing that you ain't coming out of this clean, and for you to still be like, yeah, I'll take the risk, it has to be a fucking incredible feeling. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely would. Like, I wish that there was a way where you could go to, like, a clinic, and for, let's say 30 minutes, they put you in a room and administer the sensation of any drug that you want. Like, a drug of your choice. You can't get addicted. There's no, like, harmful side effects. There's no, dependency that's going to build up. You just get to feel what it feels like for 30 minutes and then go home. That, to me, like, the first thing I'm doing is heroin. I'm going there, I'm like, give me some smack. Like, I'm ready to fucking, tie one up and push off. Like, God damn, it sounds incredible. Like, I basically am just a jazz musician that can't play the saxophone. Oh, well. Maybe one day. If I do ever get, like, terminally ill, 100% becoming a heroin addict. Like, the second they tell me, Mr. Tucker, you have pancreatic cancer, I'm like, yeah, do you know a heroin dealer anywhere around? Like, where would one acquire some H? Black tar, preferably. Your finest ounce of black tar, please. So I'd share needles. I wouldn't give a shit. What, am I going to get HIV? Like, all right. I mean, I'll be dead before that really kicks in. I mean, you can live with HIV anyways. I mean, yeah, I would do everything. I probably would do coke at that point. I'd be like, fuck it. Oh, I'd start just doing speedballs like John Belushi. So, I mean, if I'm going out, I might as well go out like, fucking, what was his name, Bluto, and then what his name was in Animal House. Oh, well, but yeah. So that's my make-a-wish. Speaking of, so what's crazy is that, like, Anne Heche, is fucked off on coke and gets in this wreck. They take her to the hospital, and she's completely brain dead. So they know that, like, I mean, she's not coming out. Like, they weren't even trying to really, like, revive her. I mean, I'm sure they did at the beginning, but, like, there's no reviving this shit. Her brain is, which, I mean, kind of already was, but, I mean, it's, like, really shut off now. Like, but they still were, like, waiting because they were like, oh, well, we're going to donate her organs, so we're keeping her on life support until we can get all that ready to, like, harvest her organs. Which, does coke not go through, like, any organs? Like, how the fuck does that work? Because, like, if you have coke in your bloodstream, doesn't like all your blood go through your organs? I'll be honest, I don't know shit about human anatomy. As I talked about here, I just found out a vagina has more than one hole in it like a month ago. Or maybe it was a little longer than that. But still, like, until I was in my mid to late 20s, I thought that babies and piss came out of the same hole. So take what I'm saying with a massive grain of salt. But I assume coke, like if you go to the hospital fucked off on coke, they ain't harvesting your organs. They'll be like, well, this is spoiled. Like they would just, roll Anne Heche into like a trash can and, send her to Ellen DeGeneres' house so she can make a fucking throw rug out of her. But like, I don't know. I guess not. I guess they can like, rinse it out and shit and use it. But that led me to a thought that I think is a fucking multi-million-dollar idea, which I will share with you. It would be an amazing idea. So the way that how they like gave Anne Heche's organs away, like how is that not a game show where you can win celebrity organs? Like how do they not have like a little sick kid wheeled out in a wheelchair, play like a game of skee ball or something, and if you win, you get like who's your favorite celebrity, Timmy? Like if you win, you get his fucking liver. If you lose, you get goddamn Nick Nolte's liver. Like there we go. You get this liver. If you lose, you get fucking John Cena's liver. If you win, like that would be. I mean, I'm going to be fucking rich now because of this idea. So laugh at the idea all you want, but when Michael Strahan comes on board to host this one, we'll see who's fucking laughing then. I mean, shit, I'd compete. Like, if I had a chance to win, like, I mean, who's a celebrity that I like? Christian Slater. Like, if I could win fucking Christian Slater's, one of his kidneys, especially if he autographed it, I probably wouldn't even put it in me. I'd just fucking mount it. I'd taxidermy it and put it right on this fucking wall next to me. I'd be like, here, dude, you ever seen fucking Broken Arrow? Like, that's his goddamn kidney. Like that, I mean, so I think it's a great idea. So I have a feeling that the viewership, the proud 20 of you are not on board with this, but that's all right. So moving on from Anne Heche and Nick Nolte's corroded liver. So I just watched the movie Prey for the third time this morning, and my God, it is. I mean, that sumbitch is probably one of the greatest movies I've seen in the past 5 years. Like, Jesus Christ. I did not have high hopes for this, I'll be honest. Because all the other Predator movies have been dog shit. Which, I will say, the first Predator is one of my favorite movies ever made. Like, without a doubt. I mean, who the fuck wouldn't want to see a juiced up Arnold, a juiced up Apollo Creed, a juiced up Jesse Ventura, out in the middle of a goddamn jungle with, like, machine guns that don't even seem like they were ever fucking real. Like, Jesse Ventura's machine gun sounds like a goddamn helicopter. And having them out there fighting like a, 7 or 8 foot tall alien. And, like, there's something about 80s movies where you can almost, like, you can feel the cocaine when you're watching them. Like, that whoever was the Predator, was it Shane Black? I think it was Shane Black, but whoever was the Predator, you can tell by watching the movie that he had a typewriter and then a mound of blow next to it. Like, it's just an hour and 40 minute dick swinging contest between Arnold, the Body, and Apollo Creed. Like, that's it. Like, it is, let's take turns doing badass shit and then immediately following it up with saying badass shit. Like, I wanted to be Jesse Ventura so bad Like, it's like from him in that movie, just the like, I ain't got time to bleed. Like, all of that shit is, God, man. So, anyways, so with the original Predator being like a movie that I set at a pretty high standard, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a cool concept. Like, they're taking Predator and putting it in like the early 1700s with Native Americans. It could be pretty fucking interesting, or it could be rough. It is goddamn amazing. Every part of this movie is fucking incredible. Mostly because of this woman, Amber Midthunder. So I don't know if she's ever been in anything else. I kind of don't even give a fuck. Like, she is so fucking good in this movie. And it's like, I mean, it's almost distracting how hot she is throughout the entire movie. Like, there is something about, like, women who could easily beat the shit out of you that is such a fucking turn on. And something about women who have, like, really big eyes. Which, I mean, it might be like an Oedipus thing, because, well, anyways. Don't want to go down that road. But Amber Midthunder is so fucking hot. Like, from the beginning to end of the movie, Jesus. Like, the whole time I was watching the movie, I was just thinking, like, if I was a European white, I mean, there is not a fucking chance in hell that I wouldn't be trying to bang every Native American woman I saw. Consensually, of course. But, I mean, I'd be like, look at these. Look at this fucking, look at her. Hold on. Look at this fucking woman. If they even looked 5% as hot as this, I'd never go back to I'd be like, England, y'all can fuck off. Every woman up there is wearing a goddamn dress that you have to be a fucking locksmith to get into. And they got a 6-foot tall wig covering up their syphilis scars. Like, hell no, I'm staying right here in Virginia. Like, this is goddamn paradise. You think I'm gonna go back there and, like, have sex with Elizabeth, who fucking showers once a month and shits into a bucket and just dumps it out of her window? And London's the most fucking civilized city. Fuck off. Like, I guarantee you their hygiene was a hell of a lot better than anything going on in Europe. I mean, look at all the fucking diseases that they brought over. I mean, these Native Americans didn't have any of that shit to worry about. They were like, what the fuck? Like, what the hell is smallpox? Like, why do you have holes eaten out on the top of your head? Like, which, I mean, I will say is pretty funny. Like, there are no white people in this movie except a few scenes with, like, these French dudes who are basically, like, 1700s versions of, like, people from The Hills Have Eyes. It's like, hey, I mean, I don't think they were probably, like, that fucking... I mean, it's funny how they, like... Which I get it. I mean, us whites have not always... We do not have a great track record, you know, especially with, like, meeting new people. So, I'm sure that, you know, we did some horrendous shit, but, like... I mean, I don't think we were, like, drooling and, like every time we saw somebody who wasn't white. But that's sure as hell how they make it seem. But, hey, I mean, it is what it is. The movie, cannot recommend this movie enough to people. Like, and I know, I mean, there's probably a lot of people who are like, oh, I don't give two shits about this movie. I just care about the original one, or they need to stop making sequels. Agreed. Stop making sequels. More so, stop making fucking... I mean, I'll watch goddamn anything that doesn't have superheroes in it. Like, that's the shit that I am just fucking done with. Like, I could go the rest of my life without seeing another fucking superhero movie. So, I mean, make 15 Predator movies. Set Predator in just different eras of history. I'll watch every goddamn one of them. Have Predator meets, you know, The Godfather. I'll have that. Have them set, you know, in like fucking New York in the 40s. Have them go to, you know, like Mongolia and fuck up Genghis Khan. I'll watch any Predator movie like that. So, yeah, hey, two shouts out to fucking Amber Midthunder. God damn. So moving on to more current events. This shit, I mean, this just is just infuriating to me. So, for one, I thought monkeypox was like not a thing. I didn't know that we were treating this like it was a thing. Not saying it's not real, because I do believe it's real. Just like I believe the old last one was real. But I definitely was not aware that it was like being taken this fucking seriously. And serious enough to where the World Health Organization, I don't even know what it is they do other than just say stupid shit, because that's all it seems like they do. But the World Health Organization has decided to rename monkeypox to avoid discrimination and stigmatization. Against fucking who? Against monkeys is what they mean. Like, they're trying to have monkeypox renamed because it's offensive to actual goddamn monkeys. I don't think there's a single primate on this planet who has been offended by this virus being called monkeypox. One, they don't speak anything that humans speak. So how the fuck would they know? And I mean, I know that they're saying like, oh, we're afraid that humans will retaliate against apes by just going out and slaughtering them. You know what? Fucking good. Because another one of my favorite movies, besides Predator, is Planet of the Apes. And I have, since I was a wee little tot, have had a fantasy that is going to really happen. And that I would be here for like the onset of it. Not the full-blown shit. Like, I don't want to be a fucking slave. But I would at least get to see the ripple that would eventually become Charlton Heston screaming at the Statue of Liberty. And if monkeys are giving us a virus and we are fighting against them, I mean, how in the hell is that not the beginning of Planet of the Apes? Like, all it's going to take is for one of them to just be slightly smarter than the others. And next thing you know, I mean, New York City is fucking gone. So, obviously, let us retaliate. I mean, what the fuck are they thinking people are going to do? Like, go to a zoo with a goddamn AR and just start mowing down the monkey exhibits? Like, nobody really. I mean, yeah, maybe a couple people might, not let one into their restaurant. But no, what's fucking why? I mean, the part that because it's not just that. It's not just that they're like saying, "Oh, you shouldn't say this because it's speciesist." It is also because they're not wanting it to get referred to based on a location, like any geographic location either. So they're not going to call it monkeypox anymore, but they're also not going to refer to it based on the location that it came from, which is the Congo region of Africa. But they don't want to call it that because they don't want people to become retaliatory to Congolese. And so now they're doing like a vote to rename it, something that won't target like, people from Africa or monkeys. So I vote to rename it the Black Plague. Oh no. But I think that one was already taken, so I'll have to be a little more original. But I mean, if you think that you should be blaming the people of a place because a virus comes from that place, you're a goddamn idiot. Like, it's, I mean, what if like if you walk down the street and some guy's like, "Oh, hello, nice to meet you. I'm from the Congo." You go, "Congo?" Like, and then spit in his face. Hey, guess who's the asshole here? Not the dude who just happens to be from the Congo. Like, I mean, because it was the same thing that happened with the last virus. When people are like sucker punching old Chinese ladies, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you think this lady that you just saw at a, fucking Target started the fucking virus? Like, no, A, she may not even be from anywhere near the region where it started. And two, I highly doubt I mean, the chances of her out of the, how many Chinese people are there? 4 billion? Isn't that, I think that's the population. Out of the 4 billion people in that country, you think that lady is one of the ones who is working in a fucking research lab? Probably not. Chances are she's probably been here her whole fucking life. And you're like over here like, you know, like kicking people in the chest at a bus stop because they happen to be Asian. Also, chances are she's probably not even fucking Chinese because white people have a really hard time distinguishing. I mean, it is amazing to me that, you know, that people are just, I mean, at that point, I guess I do kind of get the World Health Organization being complete pussies, but, you know, at the same time, people should be held accountable for just being dumb. Like, if you're fucking, I mean, if you're targeting people who are Congolese, I mean, good luck getting a bunch of fucking rednecks to even get what that means, like what Congolese means. Like, prime example, every person in my family calls Asians Chinese. They just do. Do they mean it to be racist? Probably not. Are they kind of racist? Yeah. I mean, I don't know whether the two are connected or not, but everything that is slightly Asian is Chinese. It just is. So, it kind of makes sense how there would be people who are just fucking targeting, like, Asian people in general, regardless of whether they're even from the country where the last virus came from. I mean, it's going to be, how would it not be the same shit, you know? And then you make it with, like, you know, people, like, if you make it with, like, people who are black, I mean, my God, like, you know, rednecks already have a pretty extensive history with that, so Jesus. Maybe they are right to rename it something else. I mean, name it the fucking cracker flu. I mean, we have it coming to us. So, I mean, rename it like honky-iphilus and just let us take our licks. I mean, I'll be staying inside for the whole time, so I'll avoid all this shit. But I mean, I don't know. Interesting shit. Speaking of, so my parents, so I just got a phone call like before I started doing this from my parents who are currently in the Big Easy, the city of New Orleans. And goddamn, like, I haven't laughed during a phone call like that hard in a long time. So one, I was like, because they were telling me about like, oh, I think we're gonna go to New Orleans, blah blah blah. I was like, have fun. I was like, dude, I mean that place, like, fuck that. There is no chance in hell that I would ever go to New Orleans by choice. Like, hell no. And so for them to be like, oh, we're going to go there for fun. Like, I mean, one, I'm allergic to seafood, so that already fucking knocks that one out. But, I mean, there's no way. Like, it's such a shithole. And they're like, no, you know, food's going to be good. Like, we're going to go. I was like, all right, well, hey, you know, best of luck to you. And so I get a phone call, like, I guess probably about an hour, a little over an hour ago, saying, well, guess you were right. I was like, oh, really? Why is that? He's like, man, this place is fucking nasty. I was like, is it? and so, like, my dad, I mean, that's my dad's voice, not my mom's, if you couldn't tell. My mom's voice, not completely dissimilar, though. So if you don't know, my dad is, as of now, in a wheelchair because of a car wreck. I mean, it's not like, you know, ALS or anything, so, you know, it'll be all right. But he is in a wheelchair until his, like, legs are all healed up. He does have, like, you know, some FDR legs going on right now, like little tiny little baby legs, so it's kind of funny. But he was like, yeah, you know, since I'm in this fucking chair, I'm at like nose level with all the shit and trash cans. Yeah. He's like, man, it's just fucking nasty. It smells like shit here. It's like, dude, this is the greatest thing I've ever heard. Like, that, I should have recorded that and then played that for anyone who ever says, hey, you want to go to New Orleans? Go, And then just, all right, man, this place fucking sucks. Like, I mean, he's like, and I, you know, because they're into like seafood and Cajun shit, and so they've been like all excited about going to these like restaurants and shit. And I was like, well, how was the food? I mean, didn't y'all go to like some good restaurants? But I was like, man, that food fucking sucked too. Like, what's wrong with it? He's like, man, they put a whole fucking crab on our plate. You eat the whole fucking thing. Like, I don't know what the hell's going on around here. Like, I mean, dude is just out of his element. Like, I mean, I need to start having like those phone calls on here, because my God, like, just knowing that they were looking so forward to this, like they've been looking forward to this for, I mean, they've been talking about this for a while. Like, yeah, we're gonna go on a trip to New Orleans. Like, oh yeah, cool. And like knowing that it was just sucked that bad, it's like, damn, man. Like, I feel sorry for him because he is in a fucking wheelchair and shit's already rough. But like, I told you. I mean, I hate to fucking rub it in, but you know, that place isn't known for like its cleanliness. I mean, it's basically just southern San Francisco. It's known for seafood and being like, you know, on a coast, and it seems pretty in pictures, but when you go there, you're just like, oh, it's just a bunch of homeless people and human shit. So, I mean, I guess we should all just wish them the best on their trip, but fucking hell, I mean, there is not a force on this earth that would make me think, man, I would love to go walk through a city that's just been coated in 200 years of drunk piss. Just to eat some, like, fried fucking dirt fish. I mean, who in the fuck looks at a crawfish and is like, God, that looks good? I mean, fuck no. Ugh. Louisiana sucks. I mean, you know, being in Texas, I'm not saying Texas is fucking perfect, because it's not. There's a lot of bullshit here. There's a lot of people who, you know, don't have views that I particularly care for. But Louisiana is just, like, how is that part of us? Like, it does seem like you're in a different country when you go to, like, Louisiana, especially, like, southern Louisiana. It's like when you go to Miami. Like, when you go to Miami, you're like, this isn't fucking the U.S. Like, what the hell is going on? Like, I've heard English once since I've been here, and it was at the goddamn airport. You know, and nothing against it, because fucking Miami's cool as shit. Like, it's a great fucking place. But it does not feel, like, it felt like you left the country. But I mean that in a good way. When you go to, like, southern Louisiana, you feel like you left the country in a really bad way. Like, you felt like you took a real hard right and just ended up in a not great place. But, you know, that's what it is. You know, this country's full of, you know, diverse regions and cultures. So take the good with the bad and mix them together. And what do you have? Facts of life. But yeah, I in general don't like traveling, which for comedy is, you know, gonna be pretty fucking difficult to, you know, get by. But I mean, I'll do whatever I have to do, but like, it's just, I just don't like when people say like, oh, a place is so much better than another place, or like, fuck living in a small place, like, I'm gonna live in like a big city because there's more shit to do. No, there's not. There's not really more shit to do. There are more restaurants to go to, okay, but I mean, how many times is that gonna matter? I mean, at least for me, I eat at the same fucking restaurants, like the same 3 restaurants, and I have no interest in like going to try the other ones here. Don't care. I'm like, yeah, I know this place is good. I'm just gonna fucking go to it. I'm a creature of habit, which is good and bad, I think. And for me, like, I would much rather just visit a place than like live there. Like, I mean, everybody that I knew, like, after, you know, we like graduate and all this shit is like, oh, I'm moving to Austin. Like, okay, I mean, Austin's cool and all, and I probably will end up moving to Austin just because, for all this, but it's not that great. I mean, it has its cool shit for sure, but fucking any place has cool shit. It's really just what is your goddamn mindset when you go to the place? Are you a miserable dick, at whatever city you're living in? You're probably going to be one in Austin. You're probably going to be one in New York. You're probably going to be one in Nashville. You're just probably going to be miserable there too because you're already fucking miserable. So I would rather just work on my state of mind and then move somewhere because I'm going to enjoy wherever it is I go. If I enjoy living here, and this is kind of the same for anybody, if you enjoy where you're at now, then you're going to enjoy living anywhere because you are the source of your enjoyment, not the fucking restaurant that's, a block or two away. So, not to get on the old high horse on this one, but, I guess that'll wrap this one up, to be honest. So, thank you for listening. See you next week.